Now in this video we want to add some enemies and get them moving towards the player. So if we first of all start with the zombie, let's say, so if we come down to our folder, let's find it. Okay, I can't find the zombie for some reason. There he is. Okay, just in a folder called prefabs. All right, I was expecting it to be in a folder called zombies. Right, so here is our little zombie character. All right, where is it getting this from? So if I just click on controller, animator controller, it looks like it's just laid out. So presumably our meshes. There we go. There's the zombie. All right. What about the animations? There should be a folder called animations. There we go. These are the zombie animations. Okay. So down into prefabs then, we're just going to basically drag a zombie into our scene. And then over in our scene view, I'll just change back to shaded temporarily. I'm just going to position this zombie somewhere. Rotate him so that he's actually looking at the player. There we go. So he's just stood over there. Now at the moment he looks a little bit dull. That's because of the materials that are being used. So if I just click on this character, Z character 001, we can see the material, and it's just using a standard. Now it's only just one texture. There's no normal map, height map, or any of the other stuff. So we can easily just switch over to mobile and unlit. All right, and then suddenly he fits in with the background. So what this character will need is some kind of an animator. There we go. And we've even actually got a character controller on this one. That means as long as I'm selecting this zombie character, I can move over to the animator and we can see we've got a whole bunch of animations. Well, we probably don't need this many animations, to be honest, so I'm going to create my own animator controller. So right click, create animator controller, just call it zombie. On the zombie character, let's just click and drag this into the controller. There we go. And now I can start finding some animations. What I'm going to do, I'm going to temporarily lock this animator window so that it doesn't go away, so it always stays like that, and then that allows me then to select other things without losing access to this. So then I can go into animations, and the first thing that I want is a walk animation. So if I click on walk, go over to animation, you can see what this looks like. All right, it's going to look like this. Just make sure that this has loop time enabled. You can also see that it's got some kind of root motion by the look of it. Let's drag anim walk into there. Okay, so that's going to be the default animation. And in fact, we probably don't even need an attack animation. We just need this walk, really. So if I just take a look at this through the simulator, let's just see what this looks like. Oh, he is stood in place, but now we can see him kind of just stood in place, sort of walking. At the moment I think that walk is a little bit too fast, so I want to slow that down a little bit. So if I come into my animator, click on anim walk, we have a speed. Okay, if I want to slow this down, I'll go below 1. So if I say 0.7, it will slow it down a little bit. I think that's a bit better. Now it looks like a slow sort of shuffling zombie. You can, by the way, switch between these tabs. So if, for example, I press play and this one, and then switch over to scene, you can also see the character inside of the scene view actually animating. All right, which I think is fine. Now what I want to do is actually get that zombie to start walking toward my main player. So first of all, I want something that it can target. I don't want it to walk directly into the player, otherwise it's going to look weird. I want it basically to walk in front of the player. So where we have our main camera, let's right click, let's choose 3D object and a cube. Alright, that's going to place this cube there. Let's drag this forward. And I just want to scale so it's not so big. Maybe something like this should be fine. And then just drag this so that it sits in front of the player. Alright, so it looks like this. In fact, I could actually drag that further down toward the ground. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So I'll call this target. And I want that attached to the main camera. So wherever the camera moves, this target will move as well. Now I certainly don't want to see that target, but I do want it to have a box collider that is a trigger. I'll just switch this off so that you can see what I've created. By having a trigger, it means that whenever an object actually walks into this box collider area, it's going to set something off in script, and we're going to know that we're getting attacked by a character. Now, as I say, we don't need a mesh renderer, and instead of just switching off the mesh renderer in mobile, because we've still technically got a material attached, it's better to right click and remove that component altogether, and that way it will save any unnecessary draw calls. Okay, so all we need to do now is get our zombie character to walk toward this target. I think I put my scripts folder in mobile game resources. Okay, so I'm going to right click, choose create new C# script, and I'll call it enemy move. When using mobile devices, it's best not to use too many scripts. If you can get away with using maybe 3 or 4 scripts, that's a lot better than using 30 or 40 scripts, simply because the processor has to keep opening each script and running things like the update method or the start method. It just takes a lot longer to do that. If it's only got one script that it has to run the same method on, that's going to make it so much faster. Okay, but this one's necessary because I need to attach this script to the enemy. I can't use the main because that's attached to the main camera. Okay, so what we want to do inside of this is we want to get this character to move towards the player. So we actually want to manipulate the transform using a vector 3. Okay, vector 3 is effectively an X, Y, Z. Alright, each of these are vectors. So let's find out what we can do with a vector 3. So if you go to help and scripting reference, this is going to open all of the necessary scripting that's attached to Unity. We can type vector 3, and then if you click the first one, alright, this is then going to show you everything that you can do with a vector 3. So it's going to give you a big list of everything, which is great if you're not entirely sure what you want, how to achieve it, because you can just read exactly what these things are doing. What we're going to look for is something called move towards. Okay, there it is, move towards. So it calculates a position between the points specified by the current and target, moving no further than the distance specified by max distance delta. Okay, so in other words, it will move between its current position and the player's position. So if I just click on this, it's going to show you exactly how to actually write this. It's going to give you an example, which is great. Okay, so it simply needs a transform, needs a speed, and in the update we're simply going to use this. Okay, we're going to create a new variable called step that is simply going to be speed multiplied by time.delta time. So in other words, it's constantly updating, and then it's transform.position equals a vector 3.move towards transform position, transform target position, and then the step, which is the move towards. Okay, so let's do that. So first of all, I need access to that player target. So public of type transform, we'll call player target. Then I'm going to need some kind of a speed. Okay, so I'll make this public so we can change it in the inspector of type float that we'll call speed. So I'm just going to save this. And I'm going to attach it to the zombie character. There we go, I've got my 2 slots, and let's take the target and set the speed at something like 1. Okay, it's going to be in the update, so what we want to do is effectively create this step. So I'm just going to create that as a new variable. Okay, so you can simply just type float to create a new variable. So you describe the type of variable to create. I'm going to call it step, which is going to equal speed multiplied by time dot delta time. Okay, so in other words, it's constantly moving forward each and every frame. And then we're going to take the zombie's current position, so transform dot position equals a vector3 dot move towards, and then inside of the brackets it's going to require the current position, the target position, and then the max distance delta, which is step. Okay, so I'm going to say transform dot position as the zombie's position. Then I'm going to say player target dot position as where it's going to head towards, and then we finish that off with step. Alright, that's it. That's how easy it is to get one object to move towards another object. Just going to save that. And just wait for that to compile. And now we're going to test this out. Okay, so we can see the zombie now walking toward me. Now, at the moment, he's walking straight through one of those tombstones, and he's also walking in midair. All right, which is not good. But notice that he does stop right in front of the player, which is exactly what I want. If we go over to the scene view, we can see the zombie is there, still doing his walking animation. So that definitely works, but it's not the best solution for a zombie. Okay, simply because he's walking straight through these tombstones. It's going to be great for some of the other characters, so we're still going to use this script, but we're going to do something slightly different for zombies a little bit later. But this script that we've created is going to be great for other types of creatures. Alright, so we're going to put a few of those in the next video.